Come on, man. Don't do me like that. I just need a taste, okay? Just one taste. Come on, man. I need my cheese. Hi, it's Emily from Bite Size Vegan, and welcome to another vegan nugget. One of the biggest reasons I hear people cite for not being able to go vegan is cheese. I get comments like, man, I really want to go vegan, I just can't seem to stop eating cheese. Or, I love cheese too much to ever go vegan. Now, is this simply a lack of willpower or a petty taste preference? Or is cheese actually physically addictive? There's been a lot of controversy over this matter, and today I'm going to lead you through some of the research, theories, and viewpoints in the cheese addiction debate. The main proponent today of the cheese addiction theory is Dr. Neal Barnard, the president of the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. In his article, Breaking the Food Seduction, Dr. Barnard states, in PCRM's research studies, when we take people off meat, dairy products, and other unhealthy fare, we often find that the desire for cheese in particular lingers on much more strongly than for other foods, and asks the logical next question, could cheese really be addictive? Dr. Barnard cites a 1981 study conducted at the Wellcome Research Laboratories in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina, in which they analyzed samples of cow's milk and were amazed to find what looked like and actually ended up being morphine. In case you're unaware, morphine is a highly addictive opiate. Before we get into how opiates ended up in cow's milk, let's take a little trip back to biology class to learn how opiates work within our body. Throughout our cells, we have receptors that are shaped much like locks that can only receive certain keys. And when these various keys are fitted into the receptor's lock, the cell is affected in a specific manner. The key that fits into an opiate receptor is called an opiate agonist. It's a chemical that, when bound with the opiate receptor, causes euphoria, a decrease in pain sensitivity or analgesia, and can cause physical addiction. So, back to our milk mystery. How is it that morphine found its way into milk? Upon further study, it was discovered that milk from any species contains casein, a protein that breaks apart during digestion and releases a slew of opiates, referred to as casomorphins. Casein is present in milk, with skim milk containing more, and is highly concentrated in cheese. Now, this is present in human breast milk as well, and it's posited that the purpose of our milk-made morphine is to calm infants, and may also be largely responsible for the mother-infant bond. Here we all thought it was our mother's love, when apparently we were just strung out on boob juice. Now, it's still up for debate exactly how much of these opiates make their way from our guts to our brains. I've linked to several studies on this matter in the blog post for this video, which is in the video description below. You will also find links to various articles and journal studies on the addictive nature of casomorphins. Barnard states that until the 1990s, researchers believed that dairy opiates were too large to pass through the intestinal walls except in infants. But in a French study Barnard referenced, and a Polish study I have linked in the blog post, there is evidence that these opiates make it to the brain even in adults. Due to mounting concerns, European Food Safety Agency did a scientific literature review in 2009 to assess the potential health impact of casomorphins and similar biologically active peptides. So far, the jury is still out as a lot of the research is conflicting. The United States has not looked into this. In fact, the USDA in 2000 worked with fast food chains to ensure that dairy was prominent in menu items. Barnard cites that federally sanctioned programs launched Wendy's Cheddar Lovers Bacon Cheeseburger, which single-handedly pushed 2.5 million pounds of cheese during the promotional period, and Pizza Hut's Ultimate Cheese Pizza, with an entire pound of cheese per pizza, selling 5 million pounds during a 6-week promotion, and helped Subway promote cheese and make it a required ingredient on sandwiches. I'm sorry. I'm just so proud to be an American right now. So, this would all lead us to easily conclude that cheese is physically addictive, right? I mean, it has opiates in it, for God's sake. But there are some arguments against the addictiveness of cheese that have some weight to them. The strongest I found were collected on a blog called The Vegan Option, which is also a radio show. In her post, Is Cheese Really Addictive?, writer Diana Fleischman points out that in addition to releasing opiate agonists, dairy also releases antagonistic opiate peptides, which also bind to the opiate receptors and block the agonists from activating. Thus, these antagonists would have the opposite effect of the agonists and lead cheese to not be addictive. Her second objection to Bernard's theory is that studies on the effect of casomorphins in formula-fed infants have shown the effects of casomorphin on their relatively much smaller body mass to be negligible. And her final objection is that dairy has not been shown to produce analgesia, the decreased sensitivity to pain that is one of the main effects of opiates like morphine. Of course, Dr. Bernard states that cheese holds other drug-like compounds as well. It contains amphetamine-like chemical called phenylethylamine, or PEA, which is also found in chocolate and sausage. There are many hormones and other compounds in cheese and other dairy products whose functions are not yet understood. Again, you can check out the blog post for this video, linked in the video description below, to do some digging and research to come to your own conclusion on the matter. My personal take from all of this is that the science is fascinating and the debate is certainly interesting. But to me, it doesn't matter. What matters to me is that dairy is the product of extreme suffering and abuse. What matters to me is that dairy cows are raped and their children are taken from them and sent to the veal industry so we can steal the milk that was intended for their babies. What matters to me is that dairy cows are destroyed by the demands of back-to-back pregnancies and constant milkings that their bodies give out, and they are killed 20 or more years before their natural lifespan. Yes, the health effects of dairy are horrendous, and the actions of the USDA cheese pushers deplorable. And the consumption of dairy, cheese in particular, may very well cause physical addiction. But one thing it certainly causes is suffering, abuse, and death. The bright side of all of this is that you don't have to give up cheese to not participate in cruelty and to improve your own health. Today there exists a wide variety of vegan cheeses, even ones that melt and everything. I'll admit, in the early days, vegan cheese was kinda like cardboard, but these days you can find every cheese variety. And if you're not into the pre-packaged kind, you can make your own. I have links to several recipes in the blog post. Now, I'd love to hear from you on this. What are your thoughts on the dairy addiction debate? If you're vegan, was giving up cheese a challenge? If you're not vegan, is cheese holding you back? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this extra cheesy nugget, give the video a big thumbs up, and please share it around to keep the debate going. To support Bite Size Vegan in continuing effective education, and for behind-the-scenes action and perks and rewards, join us in the Nugget Army on Patreon by clicking on that logo there or the support link in the video description below. Any little bit helps. If you're new here, be sure to hit that big red subscribe button down there for more awesome vegan content every Monday, Wednesday, and some Fridays. I would love to have you as a subscriber. Now go live vegan, get your veggie cheese fix, and I'll see you soon. Gouda. Cheddar. Pepper jack.